You are 60 million years old. You have not slept well. You are made of living metal. You do not eat, breathe, or bleed. Everyone assumes you are a robot. You are not. You are a person in a box. You remember rain. That is the entire problem. It starts with a species that could not stop dying. You were born under a sun that hated you personally. Your people lived 40 years if they were extremely lucky. You were considered middle-aged at 19. The Necrontyr. Tall, brilliant, elegant, and permanently unwell. Your star was unstable. Everything that grew under it died early. Medicine could not fix it. Neither could your technology. And your technology was superb. So your civilization fixated on the one thing it could actually control. Death, not preventing it, managing it, scheduling it, decorating it. Your cities are tombs with cities attached as an afterthought. Your architecture is funerary. Your art is funerary. Your holidays are funerary. A child learns tomb geometry before arithmetic. You spend your teenage years designing your own burial chamber. This is normal. Everyone does it. Yours is quite good. Your family is minor nobility. That means a slightly larger tomb. Your father dies at 31. That is considered respectable. Your mother dies at 28. That is considered unremarkable. You are 20. You're already tired all of the time. Then the dynasties expand outward, hunting for a kinder son. You find none. Every good world in the galaxy is already occupied. Occupied by something that does not sicken, does not age, and does not end. The old ones, they are ancient. They shape living things for entertainment, and they are immortal. Your king asks them politely to share the secret. They refuse. Accounts differ on how politely. Some say they laughed. Nobody present is available for comment. That refusal begins the longest war in the history of the galaxy. The war in heaven. It runs for millions of years. You are conscripted at 22. You will be dead in 18 years regardless, so this is not a sacrifice. That is the actual recruiting pitch. It works extremely well. Your species fights a war where soldiers die of old age mid-campaign. The old ones do not. Their soldiers do not. Their allies do not. They build new species to fight for them. Casually, as a hobby, they make the Eldari. They make the Krork. They make things with no name left. You lose continuously for a very long time. Your commander is replaced 4 times in one campaign. All natural causes. You survived to 31. You are now the oldest soldier in your unit. You are also visibly falling apart. Then the Silent King does something. Sharek, last of his line, ruling a dying species in an unwinnable war. He finds something at the galactic edge, something feeding on a star. The Citan, star gods, beings of pure energy older than life itself. They consume stars. They have no bodies, no morality, and no boredom. He offers them metal bodies, something solid to hold that power. They accept. This is the worst decision in galactic history. And then the Citan make an offer in return. Immortality. Actual, permanent, guaranteed immortality. All you have to do is move your entire species into metal. Every mind, every citizen, all at the same time. Your king says yes, he does not ask you. It is called biotransference. Vast machines are installed into every tomb world simultaneously. You are told to report to a chamber on a specific date. Most go willingly. Whole dynasties have to be dragged. There's no resistance because you are promised the end of dying. You wait in line with your neighbors. It is quiet and extremely orderly. You think about your burial chamber and how you will not be needing it. The machine takes your mind out and puts it into metal, and your body is used as fuel to power the process. Your entire species is consumed to pay for its own immortality. The furnaces run day and night until there is nobody left to feed them. You wake up standing. You did not need to wake. You simply resume. You have no heartbeat to notice missing. That takes a while to get used to. You look at your hands. They work perfectly. They will work perfectly forever. You cannot feel the floor. You cannot taste. You cannot smell. You cannot become tired. You will never sleep again, and you will never stop. And most of your people are gone, not dead, something worse. The transfer was not clean. Something did not survive the crossing. Ordinary citizens came out with nothing at all behind the eyes. Your neighbor of 19 years now stands where he is told and nothing more. He responds to orders. He does not respond to his own name. Warriors, that is the word for them now. Not a rank, a category. The nobility mostly kept their minds. That is not a coincidence. The higher your rank, the more of you came through the machine. You are minor nobility. You kept about 80%. You remember your mother face, but not her voice. You remember rain, but not what it actually felt like. You remember being afraid to die and cannot recall why it mattered. Some nobles went insane immediately. Others took 1,000,000 years. Some woke up convinced they were still flesh and behave accordingly. Then the war restarts, and now you win. Your soldiers do not age, do not tire, do not fear and repair themselves. You fight for 1,000 years without a single supply line. The old ones fall, their empire breaks, their creations scatter. The Cetan feed. That was what all of this was actually for. They consume the souls of everything that dies in the war. The Nightbringer teaches the galaxy to fear death permanently. Every species since draws death the same way. The Orc somehow missed it. The Deceiver does something quieter and considerably worse. He arranges things. He tells the truth in a shape that ruins you. You win the war, you realize you have won nothing at all. Your king looks at his people and sees an empire of appliances. 60 billion citizens and almost nobody left who can be a citizen. So Zarak does the second most consequential thing in this story. He turns on the Cetan. Star gods cannot be killed. They can, however, be broken. He shatters them into shards and seals the pieces into boxes. Dozens of fragments, maybe hundreds. Each one sealed in its own labyrinth. They are only ever released when nothing else will save the battle. Then he looks at what remains of his people and gives one final order. Sleep, all of you, for 60,000,000 years. The plan is simple. Let the galaxy forget, let the survivors rise and fall. Let the damage settle, then wake up and repair what was done. There was a restoration project. There were notes. It was going to be fine. You go down into your tomb, roughly the one you designed as a teenager. Stasis crypts, millions per world, silent, sealed, and patient. The Silent King exiles himself from the galaxy entirely, out of shame. And you sleep. 60,000,000 years is difficult to describe in any useful way. When you closed your eyes, mammals were still an experiment. The dominant intelligent species of the galaxy had not been invented yet. Continents you knew are now at the bottom of an ocean, and the tombs are not as reliable as advertised. Some crypts fail quietly. Some worlds take asteroid strikes with everyone inside. Some tombs flood. Some are mined by people standing on top of them. Some wake correctly, a great many do not. Entire dynasties wake with corrupted minds and no way to know it. One lord wakes convinced he is still flesh and demands a banquet. One wakes with no memory and begins collecting other people's history. One wakes and immediately starts redesigning his own subjects. And some crypts simply never open again. You wake in the wrong century for the wrong reason, with a fault code. Something is drilling into your tomb from above. Not an enemy, not an invasion, a mining company. Humans, a species that did not exist when you went to sleep. They have been living on top of your tomb for 200 years. They built a town, they named it after a mineral deposit. The protocols are unambiguous. Awaken tomb, infestation present, cleanse. Your warriors walk up the stairs and do exactly what they are told. It takes 6 hours. Nobody on the surface understands what is happening. You watch, you have opinions, you are not asked for any of them. This is the part that nobody warns you about. You are awake for 60,000,000 years of consequences and you get no vote. Your lord came out of the crypt damaged. He issues orders in a dead dialect. He addresses courtiers who have not existed since before the sleep. Everyone pretends this is normal. Court protocol is remarkably robust. You are the seneschal now. It means translating madness into logistics. You wake the reclamation legions, you inventory the tomb. 40% of the crypts are non-functional. You do not report that accurately. You go up to the surface at night to look at the sky. The constellations are wrong, every single one of them. 60,000,000 years move stars, you knew that. Knowing is not the same. There's a human settlement 300 kilometers east. Protocol says cleanse it. You schedule it for later, repeatedly. You are not being merciful. You do not have the equipment for mercy. You simply remember being a species that ran out of time. And these people are so obviously running out of theirs. Then the galaxy tears open. A vast rift splits reality. Storms of raw warp energy everywhere. Your sensors report it. Your lord declares it a scheduling inconvenience. Something else happens at exactly the same time. Deep-range receivers pick up a signal nobody has heard in 60,000,000 years. The Silent King has come back. Sharek spent his exile crossing the void between galaxies. He came back because something worse than him is arriving. Something that consumes entire worlds and negotiates with nothing. He returns to a broken empire of damaged kings and empty soldiers. He issues one order to every dynasty still capable of hearing it. Reunify, repair, and finish what biotransference started. Because he never actually abandoned the restoration project. 60 million years later, and he is still hunting for bodies you could live in. Some dynasties refuse. Some declare him a criminal, which he factually is. Your lord accepts, in a dialect nobody has spoken since the war. You are assigned to a reclamation fleet. You travel to other worlds and open other tombs. Most of what you find is not good. You open a crypt of 200,000 and recover 11 functional minds. You open another and find nothing but a command loop repeating itself. You start keeping a private record. Names of the ones you cannot repair. Nobody ordered this, nobody will ever read it, you do it anyway. That record is the only remaining proof that you are still someone. On a mining world, you find a human child hiding inside your tomb. Protocol's completely unambiguous. You look at her for 4 seconds, which for you is an extremely long time. You mark the corridor as structurally unsound and seal it from the outside. You do not tell yourself any story about why you did that. Later, you calculate that she has perhaps 70 years. 70 years. Your species would have called that an entire dynasty. You have stood in one hallway longer than her species has existed, and you would trade every year of it for one afternoon in the rain. That is the thing about immortality that nobody checks in advance. It does not extend your life, it removes the ending. A life with no ending is not longer, it is only wider and emptier. Your king understood this roughly 10 minutes too late. 60 billion people paid for that timing. Now the fleets are moving again, the dynasties are waking. The Necron Empire is returning, badly in pieces, out of order. And somewhere out in the dark, the Silent King is still working on it. He needs an organic species that can hold a Necron mind. He has not found one. It has never once been going well. He has never once stopped. You do not believe in it. You maintain the equipment anyway, because hope is not a requirement for maintenance. You were a boy who was going to die at 40. You got absolutely everything you asked for. You have not felt rain in 60 million years and can still describe it exactly. And you will keep describing it, which is the best any of us ever get.